Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Dr. Lynn. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about something that's super common with the ladies that I chat with and that I assist in with their health, and that is PCOS. And what I'm going to do here in this video is give my top tips when we're talking about PCOS and what to do. But before I get into it, don't forget to give this video a like because it helps me out so much, and subscribe if you like my stuff. Go ahead and subscribe. And then also I'll have all the supporting links with things that I chat about below in the description. Okay, so what does PCOS even stand for? It stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. And a lot of things that we can see when we're experiencing PCOS is missing periods, heavy, very painful periods, heavy bleeding, things like diabetes or pre-diabetes, also a history of ovarian cysts, which makes sense with polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's in the actual name of the syndrome. And then lastly, one thing that I do talk a lot about with my ladies is excess estrogen. So having symptoms like really bad PMS, fibrocystic breasts or like lumpy breasts before our periods, or even very tender, painful breasts around our period. Okay, so those are very common symptoms that come along with PCOS. So now I want to just quickly go over the root cause of this, because I think a lot of times that's grazed over and we're just given the pill or birth control to help control all of those symptoms that we were having. So let's go ahead and dive into that. So all in all, PCOS is like a metabolic issue. So we're going to be thinking of blood sugar, we're going to be thinking of insulin resistance, and on top of that, inflammation. And if you've watched any of my things, in general, inflammation, chronic inflammation is no bueno for our body. So what's very common is women are experiencing this insulin resistance, which we don't know that's happening, and we're eating a plethora of carbohydrates, for example, which can mess with that insulin level. And with that insulin resistance, we can then experience that weight gain. That's something that I hear a lot from ladies with PCOS, is that I'm gaining weight and I don't know why, and it's hard for me to get off. So with insulin resistance, essentially our cells and organs are not responding well to that insulin. This can then create even more hormonal imbalances, such as an increase in producing testosterone. Okay, so I don't want to bore you with all of that sciencey hormonal kind of thing. So hopefully that gave you a great basic foundation of the root cause of PCOS. And now what I want to do is go into how can we help ourselves to the best of our ability naturally. So the first one I want to start off with is something that might not blow your mind, but the next ones are going to be super helpful to you. The first one is movement. Getting in good, healthy movement every day is great for our hormonal balance. It's great to release those endorphins. It's just really beneficial for the body. Also, working out can help our gut microbiome, the bacterial diversity of our gut microbiome, which is good. We really, really want that. All right, since we're kind of already talking about the gut, we're gonna go into tip number 2, which is super important: gut health and adrenal health, okay? So let me explain gut health real quick. We want to focus on our gut health in general all of the time, but especially when we have something like PCOS, our body is in a deficiency. Our body really, really needs help functioning because there's dysfunction happening. So if we can work on something like gut health, where 70 to 80% of our immune system lies, this is going to help our immune system, and this is also going to help the inflammatory processes. So I'm going to get to the food portion here in a moment, but supplement wise, as far as a daily gut supplement goes, I like to take OptiGreens 50. Now, the one thing to note about OptiGreens 50, which is the 1,000,000th thing that I love about this supplement as a daily supplement, it actually has a glycemic balance blend, which is really perfect for someone with PCOS, because glycemic, we want to keep our blood sugars nice and level. We want to help our insulin response. We want to help these things. And OptiGreens 50 has that glycemic blend in there to help keep things nice and stable and steady. So it's super beneficial. Not only that, we're going to be working on our gut health as well. Adrenal health was paired with that gut, okay? The adrenal glands big hormone producer, especially when it comes to our stress hormone, that cortisol hormone that I love to talk about. And the reason being is because chronic stress, chronic cortisol imbalance of cortisol can create that inflammation again. And we want to keep that inflammation down because that's already paired with PCOS, okay? So we want to help that out. So some top tips with adrenal health. Number one, I typically recommend having a lower caffeine intake because caffeine, energy drink, coffee, tea, day after day after day can really wear down the adrenal glands, and that is something that's just super common that people consume. Number two is I like to cycle in a supplement. This one I take is Adrenal Restore. It has a lot of herbs that are going to help reboot and just replenish those adrenal glands. Numero tres is something that I really love to talk to my ladies about, and that's an anti-inflammatory diet. And honestly, we all should be focusing on eating an anti-inflammatory diet, but with all of the processed foods out there, it is really hard to do, but we can totally do it. I tell you what, with the food portion in general, when I'm talking to the ladies about food groups, we are going to try to shoot for a higher fat, healthy fat diet or way of eating and a lower to moderate carbohydrate diet because of that insulin resistance and that blood sugar. The carbohydrates are what's going to mess with that a little bit more. So if we can keep those a little bit lower, keep that healthy fat higher, that's going to be amazing. And that is why too we have so many amazing recipes in the Daily Feel Good on drlindsayschmidt.com, and we've created that gut cycle as well to focus on food brands we love, food swaps, behaviors, all of those kind of things to help nourish our body, whether that be from PCOS or having gut issues. Okay, the last tip I want to give, number 4, is something that a lot of people do not like to hear, but it is just the truth, is alcohol. In general, alcohol can be detrimental to a specific detoxification organ, which is our liver. So if you've heard of fatty liver disease or people having liver issues when they've been a big drinker or just even a consistent drinker every day, this is not good for our body and again causing that inflammation. And also women with PCOS are more likely to be diagnosed with fatty liver disease or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So you can see with drinking alcohol, especially like on a daily use of drinking alcohol, this can really break down the body. And again, like I said earlier, our body's in a deficiency when we have something like PCOS going on. We need to do our best to bring it out of that deficiency so it can thrive. But wait, before I go here, last supplement recommendation, besides the OptiGreens 50 and cycling in the Adrenal Restore, I do like to recommend the GDA. It's a glucose disposal agent. It sounds super fancy. Essentially what it does is when you take this around your meal, it's going to help stabilize blood sugar levels. And again, that's super important with people with PCOS because our body's having troubles with that blood sugar. And something like this can really help with fat loss and also weight maintenance because we're helping our body do a function that it's not very good at with having something like PCOS. So all in all, with having PCOS, my top recommendations is really look at the food that we're consuming, add in some proper supplementation, and do this for the long term because when we give our body that time to heal, things will change. It just takes time, patience, and consistency. If you have any questions, drop them below. Give this video a like if you like it, and I'll put all of the things that I talked about, the links below in the description as well.